We are all
I
live.
just realized what you were asking me. Like, duh, of course we
Of
can.
course, of course, of course.
It's hot in here, so he asked me to turn on one of my fans.
One of her fans that writes to her all the time. Hello, good evening, everyone out there. Good evening. My wife is trying to look some. It's very hot in here, and I just came from the gym.
Yeah.
Did a little workout, so my body is hot. I'm sweating.
We had to cool this guy
Welcome to
down.
Tweed Talk tonight. We have a special day today because we're talking about music today.
Music Monday.
Music Monday. There's a lot of things we got to talk about. We're going to briefly go over some of the things that we got to talk about. One of the things that we got to talk about is today, honey. Today.
What is today?
I'm going to tell you in a second. Let me see if I can find this thing. Okay, today is my mother's birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños,
Feliz
madre.
cumpleaños, mama. Today, I'm not going to say how old she is, but let me play one of my favorite things.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday from Cheer Soul. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
That is awesome.
Okay, the harmonies make the hair on my arms stand up.
Well, honey, it's Music Monday. I had to start the show today like that. Music make the soul
happy.
That's right.
Rejoice.
That's right. And another thing that makes me happy is watching Lady Laura perform.
I was watching some of the videos.
I'm telling you, when I saw her on video, I said, wait a minute, she does everything that I teach. She one of my students.
I was gonna say, as a gymnastics coach, you probably were very happy to see her on stage antics.
She's on fire.
En fuego.
En fuego.
En fuego.
Like this room here is in fuego.
You're not cooled down?
Not yet. Like I said, I just finished doing a set, so I'm very hard. Welcome to the people that are watching.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
I'm sorry, Pedro just came in like a bat out of hell. He didn't give you guys a proper Tweed Talks. Welcome. So welcome to the viewers that are on right now. We have a great show for you guys today. Music Monday.
Music Monday.
Yeah. And we're still trying to recover from a crazy
weekend.
When
do we not have a crazy weekend? I mean, we always going someplace doing something.
But yeah, we're always doing something. But this weekend was, I can't even express how crazy it was.
Just like last weekend.
But between you, me, and
Bobby Baggy
and Lori OJ, I think we could all probably make it to at least one event and split ourselves in three and make it to multiple events that are local. So
yeah, I'm so glad for Lori also coming on because she's another ball of fire. I don't even know how she keep up with herself. She's going here, she's going there. She's presenting here, presenting there. It's crazy. It's all over the place. But I love it.
Yeah.
I got to teach Tai Chi at the resort.
Yeah, as a resort for the wellness event that Rotaries. It was multiple Rotaries. It was hosted, and it was great. I'm very sorry that I missed it.
Yeah, there was a couple of people that told me, wow, I didn't know you were there, and they would have gone to the class. There was actually some healing happening after the Tony Lou was asking me if I could fix his arm by doing shiatsu, and I was able to do that. Um, I did a couple of points on him, and he was able to move his arm,
Yeah.
which is always good.
Yeah.
It's not a silver bullet, but it happens more often than not.
It's bronze. Is it maybe bronze? Let's say it's bronze.
I tell you that, music, no matter what type of music it is, and depending on the person, of course, and it just makes you good music.
Good music, yes.
Makes you feel good.
Yes.
I love when you sing.
Really?
I love when you sing. When you in your element, and I've seen it a couple of times. Like one time we tried to do a song together, and I just didn't know the words because I was looking at you, and then I realized I was supposed to be singing with you.
What song was that? When was it?
Well, there's a couple of them we did. We did this song with
We did "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Baby It's Cold Outside, and we flipped it.
Yeah.
We flipped it, and when we did that, and we started singing, and we had an audience too.
Yeah, that was at the museum.
At the museum, right? And then I realized that I almost forgot. I almost didn't come in because I was so enthralled with the way you were singing.
Enthralled.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to use some of my English words because I'm forgetting my Spanish. Okay, so listen, and another thing that's coming up, right? And I don't know if you know this, honey, but
I don't know
I
what's going on.
I think you do know this.
Maybe I do.
And we talked to Lori about it, right?
Okay.
They both start with an L, by the way. Is this coming up?
Oh, our exhibition.
Yes.
I have to tell you, when she comes on, I have to tell you how I felt when. I'll tell her when she comes on.
Yes. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Look at you, Mr. Tweed.
Yeah, I'm flying like an eagle. And this guy here was one of my former gymnasts, which we have a lot of those. And this is
our recent graduate, yes.
A recent graduate, right?
Amelia,
Because,
Marissa, when they were in classes.
These kids here, they made the team.
Yeah.
And competed for the first time this year.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
You gotta love the kids.
Look at that. And then we're going to talk about this one later.
Cool.
Okay, but right now, we're going to play a video. Oh, do you have anything else, honey, that you want to add?
No, I was just going to read a little bit of Lady Laura's bio. And then do you want to do the clip? We'll do that?
Sure.
Okay. The unmistakable sound of Laura Smith, professionally known as Lady Laura, projects a clean, penetrating tone of soul, entertainment, and pleasure. Her melodic voice is unique in its wide appeal to young and mature listeners alike. Laura's music style combines aspects of blues, rhythm and blues, and rock and roll. Her live shows include spectacular vocal along with rhythmic dancing, which often culminates in a thunderous audience response for the petite, attractive performer.
All right.
Let's play a clip.
Circle
Welcome to
Welcome to
Tweed
Tweed
Talks.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you loud and clear.
What an entertaining video. What an entertaining performer. Oh my goodness. You're like a ball of fire.
I appreciate that. I
And,
appreciate
and that's not even my favorite clip yet.
Oh,
My favorite clip is coming in a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
For those people that know what I do, and then you're really gonna like this next clip coming up.
hmm
So how you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm sorry it took me so late to get on, but I'm here. You
You
know,
were
Oh,
right on
right on
time.
time.
right on time.
Yes, right on time. So you've been busy doing a lot of things. But first, let's get to how did you get started with music?
Well, like everybody does,
You
from
sang in the church?
in a church and stuff.
I knew it. I knew it.
Church, but I never took any lessons or anything like this. Is just natural stuff. You
Mhm,
know, my family's from Macon, Georgia.
mhm,
I grew up hearing this type of music, blues and stuff like
mhm.
that, and my mother, she was an entertainer as well, but she didn't pursue her career like I'm doing. She sung around, she was a celebrity around the family and her friends.
Yeah. I saw your mother singing in that show that I got the clip from. I saw your mother singing right
Yeah,
afterwards.
she's still alive and kicking. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and she looks good for her age.
Mhm.
She's still with me. Thank God.
Love
You know,
that. Love
Yeah.
that.
thank
Yeah.
God she's still with me. And Joe, I didn't know that Joe, you was his teacher, correct?
Yeah, but I was his teacher. It's funny. He's probably too shy to say anything, but um, when people used to challenge me in martial art, they have to spar my student first, and
Really,
they never got past Joe.
really.
Really?
They never got past him, so I never had to fight, and it was bad for me.
I tease him all the time. He talks about you all the time. Every time we is a karate picture come on or whatever, he's always talking about his teacher, his teacher, his
Wow.
teacher, his teacher.
I
And
love
then he showed me a clip where you did your handstand, your on one hand or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Oh, the planche push up.
oh,
yeah,
the push-ups, yes. Oh my God.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. He was doing finger push-ups, so
He does that now.
yeah, he
Oh,
was
you
doing
better
finger
go
push-ups,
ahead.
just like that. Just
He does that. I said that's where you get the keyboard. You play the keyboard strong. Like that. But I've been doing this for over 20 years,
mm-hmm,
and I've been promoting myself.
mm-hmm,
hmm
Always, I did a lot of professional open mics. Number one, Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar, and the
mm-hmm.
city. You know that group, Ashford.
Right. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Right. They had a sugar bar, which is still they still have open mic every Thursday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I go there. I went there, and I became family there. Every time I go there, I get a standing ovation, stuff like
Wow.
that. And I got work from there, and
Mm-hmm.
then I did a famous open mic called the Village Underground, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always celebrities in the house, so you never know who's who. And I got booked to Japan because it was a producer, Japanese
Mm-hmm.
producer, in the audience, and he saw me performing. And I landed in Japan like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
One time I went for 2 weeks with a band, and then I went for 2 months by myself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It was this place called Miyakanocho City, Miyazaki. It's like the
How was it? How was that? 2 months you said by yourself?
I myself, and I tell you that you will learn how to adjust
Sure.
when you're by yourself. I had a interpreter, but he wasn't with me all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
and the people just love me there, and you just learn how to adjust, and I learn how to say hi and bye, and you know, they
Okay.
every time I go to a restaurant, they say, "You want some chicken? Chicken, chicken, chicken."
The universal language is
Yeah,
chicken.
everybody knows chicken.
Chicken. Every time I went, they thought I want some chicken. I said, "No, I want to try other stuff." But yeah. So I've been doing that, and then as I went along, I learned a lot of things, and professionalize myself. You know,
Mhm.
and so I get a lot of work, because I build up my repertoire, I build up my
Mhm.
name, and a
Mhm.
lot of people know my name, and now I get calls, and I can say how much I charge and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Good.
that's where it's at. That's what it's
That's it.
about.
Yeah, so before I was like grabbing anything. Okay, all right, all right, all right.
Yeah, you do
You
like
know, and
performer.
sometimes you just have to give back, and
Mhm.
and sometimes I do a lot of charity stuff too. It depends
Mhm.
Mhm.
on what it is. If it's going to benefit me, I'll do it.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. But other than that, I'll tell you one story that this lady, she was having a birthday party for her mom. She was turning 100 years old, and she wanted to go out big. She had dancers. She had three cakes. She had three bands. She went all out for her mom. She had African dancers, and she said, "Lady Laura," she says, "it's going to be a lot of people here. It's going to be a lot of big people here. Can you please, your band, perform for me? All I have is I'm down to $300."
Hmm.
So I said, "I tell you what, I'll do it. I don't have to get paid. I'll pay my band. I'll do it."
Mm.
Mhm.
Dollars. That $300 went up to $1,200.
Wow.
I got $1,200, and I got what was it? 300 for my band, and we stayed in a five-star hotel. It was a lady that was there, and
Mhm.
she called me that next week, and she said, "Listen, Lady Laura, my husband loved blues, and he loved your performance, and we want you to do a show for us. It's an intimate setting. It's going to
Mhm.
be at my house." And I'm like, "At your house, okay?" And I'm like thinking it's going to be in a backyard or something. So I said, "So when?" She said, "Next week." And I was like, "Next week? Where?" "Florida,
Florida.
Davie, Florida." And I was like, "Okay, how am I gonna do this?" So she paid for everything. I got
Mhm.
Mhm.
I got my musicians together. She paid for the equipment from Sam Ash down there. And when I went to this lady's house, it was just simply a mansion.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and she picked us up at the airport, and she came, black family. She came with a Rolls Royce,
Hmm.
and and a van behind her. And she was like, "Lady Laura, you ride with us." And they put the band in the van. And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, beautiful people." I don't
Mhm.
know what she did, but I don't know what her husband did, but
Mhm.
they was well off. And when we got there, she said, "Lady Laura, go into the kitchen." And I go into the kitchen, and we have Charles Oakley, the
Mhm.
Knicks player,
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
in the kitchen cooking. And I go in there, I'm like, "What?" She,
Wow. That is
she
so random.
Oh my God. It was, oh my God, it was so nice. And this lady paid for everything. And I did. All she did was wanted me to sing some blues for her husband. Husband loved
Mhm.
Mhm.
blues. It was very nice, intimate. The house was big enough for her.
Right. I bet.
So what I was said that to say this. Sometimes you just have to do things when people ask you to do it.
Mhm.
It's not all about money all the time, you
Mhm.
know. And because I did that for $300, I got more money back then. That was like
Right.
a lot back then. But
Mhm.
other than that, I've just been doing my thing. I love the stage. I love
Uh-huh.
it. I love entertaining. That's my joy. And when you see me do the handstand, that is a leap for joy and faith. When I go on my hand, that gives me, that let me know the audience. I love the audience response. So when I get the audience response, that's my way of saying whoop. And I tell you, I'll do it until I can't do it anymore.
There you go. There you go.
So listen, so they
Did
will
she-
understand.
Did she set it up good?
Yeah, that's a good setup.
Yeah, there you go.
So are you ready? People, are you ready? Because I cut this enough so we could fit it in there. So.
Are you ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
I love that audience participation. Love that. She held that handstand.
You have that.
She held that handstand.
You should have played the other video.
Yeah.
Did you see the other one when I was in the park?
I didn't see it.
I saw another one where you
I
held
sent
it.
it to your messenger.
The cartwheel. Oh yeah, but I was out.
Check it out later.
Yeah. But
And I saw you on a commercial.
my wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and Joe sitting watching TV, and I'm like, I seen that lady before. He said, "Oh, that's my teacher's. Oh, that's my teacher's wife." I said, "Really?" I said, "Wow, that's
so
nice."
Yeah,
You look good too.
she's done quite a few. I think the one you're talking about is the Raymond Flanagan, right?
Yes.
Is it the one you're talking-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that one. Yes. Yes.
Raymond Flanagan.
Yes.
Raymond Flanagan.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about, because I saw that kick was pretty high. So tell me about your martial art.
Well, I started martial arts when I was like 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a style called Katsugen.
Mm-hmm.
Erskine Matthews. I don't know if you ever heard his name. He was my teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and what he did was it came from a style called Katsugo.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was he created his own style from that, and what he did was drop the O and put the en at the end. It became
Okay.
Katsugen instead of
Mm-hmm.
Katsugo for Erskine neutralizer,
Right.
right? And but his teacher was Ron Van Cleef. You know Ron Van Cleef,
Of
right?
Of
course.
course. Yeah. Chinese Goju.
Like
Yes,
Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
yes. And then he did that with him, and then he did created his own style, you know, and I mastered in that style.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
See,
Wow.
I saw they gave you an award at one point there, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I,
So
I,
many different
I'm
layers.
not as good as you though.
I'm okay. Uh,
He's so modest.
also, also, you know, I put on the promo there that you wrote your movie.
Yes, I wrote my first independent movie. It's a
Mm-hmm.
drama movie. It's about a family from the South
Mm-hmm.
and a teenage girl navigating through life, sleeping with men, having babies, and the story. You know what I'm trying to portray is that um, young girls should not have babies, especially without an education. You know, and sometimes when you don't have an education, you get lost. And 9 times out of 10, some children come out good from that, and some kids come out bad from that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and this story is about a young teenager that has never changed in adulthood as well.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
know, her children became more mature than she is, you know, and stuff like that. And then she, you know, she have these children, and she just navigate to one child
Mm-hmm.
because of the color and
Okay.
the hair texture.
Okay.
Oh, you hear that so much.
Yes, yes. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a
So
great story. Yeah.
It sounds like a
you're doing a
wonderful story.
fundraiser for that movie, right? On in June.
Yes. Yes. I have 10 grand for it now, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to raise 10 more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
These days it really don't take a lot to do a movie. But if you want to do it right, I'd rather have, you know, some resources.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so because I mean I have people that's helping me out, and this production is a non-paid for now. Um, I was in an independent movie myself called Statistics Till
Mm-hmm.
Death Do Us Part, and that is playing now on YouTube. Um, a guy I went to school with, his name is Lawrence Page, and he did the same thing I'm doing,
Right.
and that was back in 2001. And I remember everybody helped him out and stuff like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we went to Tribeca to premiere, um, there was two. I remember two ladies there, and Rerun from What's Happening was there. I met him.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at that time. And
Rerun.
so his movie, the independent movie that he did, was very successful.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is a celebrity chef. He's been on Steve Harvey's show. His name is
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence Page, and he did three more movies after that. Right? He has a
Mm-hmm.
pink teacup restaurant in the city. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I didn't like about him is that he didn't give back. You know, he said that he was going to, you know, oh y'all help me out. I'm gonna put y'all in all my movies. I'm, you know, do this and that. But that's not going to be me. You
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah. I think that's very important when you do things like that, when people
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
I want to give back. I love helping, and I appreciate people that help me, and I like to show that appreciation. You know, when people help me and stuff like that. But I said I'm determined to do this Even if I don't get it, I'm still going to do it. You know, I have people that's helping me out, a cameraman, you know, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, you get your crew together, you know, got all you gotta do is get that food, feed the people. Yeah, but I have a casting call on the 27th, Saturday.
Yeah.
And I put my ad in backstage, you know,
Okay.
Hmm.
and I have a lot of I got a lot of response
Great.
Good. Good.
coming out on the 27th. Yes. Yeah. So once I get all the cast, then we'll start filming. You know, I want to be able to start filming in August, you know. So filming some scenes, complete the movie in August.
Love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm telling you, I just love your energy.
yeah.
So before we let you go, tell us what you have coming up.
Okay.
Live performances, online performances. Let us know what's going on.
Okay, the town of Hempstead, where I live,
Mm-hmm.
they have concert series every year,
Love that.
and I'll be singing in the park, Harold Walker Park, and this is in Rockville Center. Um, and that's on July 11th, I believe, July 11th, 8 p.m. to 9:15, and it's on Woodfield Road. I don't actually have the address in front of me, but it's on Woodfield Road in Rockville Center, Harold Walker Park, July
Harold
11th.
Walker Park.
Yes, and then I'll be at the African American Museum
Hmm.
on June 23rd. That's a Friday. That's a Friday, I believe, and that's from 7 to 10 p.m. That's my fundraiser
That's the
Okay.
fundraiser. Okay. For the film?
Yeah.
film. Yes, the
Yeah.
film is called "What a Mama."
Mm.
Hmm.
That's what it's called. What a Mama. You know, and so we're having that fundraiser, and then I'll be June 25th. I'll be in Brooklyn at
Brooklyn.
another. I'm doing a not my fundraiser, but it's a fundraiser for someone else, and they want my band to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be doing that. And then I really don't want to take anything right now because I want to work on my movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
After I do my last show at the park, I want to take a break and just focus on doing the movie, stuff like that. Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that.
Okay.
Wow.
So we will keep in touch and see how we could help.
Mm-hmm.
My wife cannot be part because she's on the union.
Yeah, I have a lot of non-union. Yeah, I have a lot of non-union people coming, and I know that union workers, they got to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had enough money, to pay, I sure will, because she would definitely be the leading role. I know she could do that real good.
I'm all right. I do all right. I
She
do
can
all
play.
right.
She can play my leading role, my leading lady.
Yeah. 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 She's gonna be on my film, and I had to pay her.
Listen, you guys are so wonderful, and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you guys taking the time out to talk with me and stuff like that. I'm not a great talker. I just like to get
Oh,
on
you great.
stage, and I just like to get on stage and do what I do.
Uh huh. Understood.
Looking
You're
at
a
me like
wonderful talker.
You did
Speaker.
fantastic. You
Yeah, you
did
spoke very
fantastic.
well. You were fine. And, when we share this video on our page, we will make sure we put all your dates in there, the fundraising information, your social media handles, all that
oh, and
good
my website
stuff.
is
Yes.
Lady Laura, LadyLauraSings.com. LadyLauraSings.com.
Yes.
Yes.
I will do that. And I'll actually type that right into the comments
She's
as
gonna put it right there,
well.
right now.
And make sure you check out the video I sent you in the messenger. That one was really great. I did that at a park. It's
Okay.
We could do that. We could also
We could
share
do
that
that,
as well.
and we could actually play that on the next show on Monday.
okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
you be our musical guest.
Music-
Yeah. So we're gonna let you go with this video. We're gonna play a little bit of it, and it's one of your original.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I love that man. Oh, I would love that man. If your man got you saying shoot, shooby-doo, sing it with me now. Are you ready? Shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot, shooby-doo, shoot, shooby-doo. I love the man. He got me saying shoot.
Thank you so much for joining us live on Tweed Talks. We will be in touch. Thank you so much,
Thank
Lady
you.
Laura.
All right.
What an excellent
That was
interview.
awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Lori.
Hey, that was so much fun to watch and listen to.
Right?
It was my first time introduced to her stuff. That was great.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of
agreed.
energy. A lot of energy.
Yeah.
We continue with our Music Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and where's my page? Okay, there we go. With Lori James, which is a friend of ours.
Yep.
We've been doing lots of things together,
Lots of things together.
helping each other
Yes.
along the way. I couldn't even think of a title to give you because there's so many and so many things that you do.
Yeah.
That I didn't know what should I say. She sings, she's a performer, what should I say? So I couldn't pick one, so I just say, here she is. Lori James.
Well, that's so kind of you. So I just consider myself an artist, broad
Yes.
spectrum.
Yes, and
Thank you.
entertainer.
Mm-hmm. And artist yells.
Yeah, that gives me the ability to bring in my dance, my music, my theater, my education stuff. You know, because educating is an art form.
Mhm.
You know, so doing all that kind of stuff. Pardon you have all my wig heads are in the background. I don't want people to think I'm strange. I'm in my costume room, so the wig heads are in the back. So that's what they are. I don't collect heads. I don't want to.
Those aren't real heads behind you?
No, but I have a lot of wigs back there. So,
You don't want people to think you're strange. We all performers like us are strange.
you don't function as a performer without being a little strange.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. So how is Bill?
He's good, thank you very much. He's downstairs watching TV. You know, he's busy looking for a new car, and he's getting better every day. Thank you for asking.
Good.
He's stronger every day, and he's
Awesome.
feeling well. Thank you.
Good. Glad to hear that.
You know, I gotta tell you before we get into your stuff. I gotta tell you a story about Bill. I was in California, ready to do a show, and Wayne Brady show, and he's the only person back here that I thought of to call. So I said, Bill, I'm about to go on the Wayne Brady show, and I didn't realize that it was 3 hours different in California.
So what time did you call him?
It was like 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Yes.
You woke him up. I have a feeling he was probably already up doing the news.
He was
Yeah.
probably up and already on the air.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
was.
took your call? My
He
goodness.
took my call. and yeah, that's my story with Bill. That's one of my story with Bill.
Mhm.
But with you have done everything, and now what is the new title that you have?
So I was just elected to the New York State Council of Education Associations. I was just elected as their president-elect. So I have my next 6 years committed, 2-year terms, 2 years as their president-elect, 2 years as their state president, and 2 years as their past president to serve on their executive board. It's a very humbling opportunity for me. As you know, I've been very active in the New York State School Music Association, New York State School Music Educators Association. I've been active. I'm the current New York State Alliance for Arts Education president. This particular organization represents it's 50 some odd members of organizations throughout the state that are all in the education world. So being elected as I was an honor because it represents the New York State United Teachers, so the Teachers Union, the Administrators Union, Zanies is a member, School Boards Association is a member, New York State Teachers of Mathematics, New York State Reading Teachers, New York State Social Studies teachers, the school nurses, the private schools, the Catholic schools administrators. So it's a broad spectrum of the educators associations, and we advocate for education of our 2 million students in New York State. And we've been asked and nominated by Russ Fonts, who is the current president of NISMA. Great honor, but to see that in that room that day, the support and being elected, I just hope I live up to their trust in me.
Oh goodness. I'm sure you will. You know, Laura's retired. She's retired.
Yeah, you can't tell that she's
You
retired.
cannot tell her. Okay,
She's so busy.
So last last fall, I got a call from her because Ann Trombley, who is also a former music teacher in Monticello, and asked me if I could teach the theater class. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it because I have, we travel on the weekends with the gym. And so, I threw a couple other names out there. And then a couple weeks later, I get a call from Lori. She's like, so yeah, maybe we could do this. And I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, okay, she just wants me to fill in every now and then. She's like, okay, so I'll take this weekend. You take that weekend. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm going to be a teacher. And we managed to work it out. And again, this spring semester, we just finished.
Right.
We had the recital last weekend. And I was like, she didn't trick me into doing it, but she just said I was doing it, and I did.
She has a way of convincing you to.
So I the best humbling experience that I can give myself is being able to say to a former student, it's time. That's right. Educators never retire. That's correct, Nicole. As you well know, Nesson Cultural Arts, which is, the organization we're teaching for, Ann and I were two of the founders along with Ellen Nesson. We were literally picking beans at the organic farm, for Central when we used to be able to go on the field and actually pick our beans. And we found out that Joan Pletter was ending her classes. She was no longer teaching. And we said, there's no more dance teachers. We've lost so many of the hotels where we used to have union musicians who used to come in and do private teaching of our music students. We really don't have a lot for kids for the visual arts. What could we possibly do? What are some options that we have? And, we played around with some possibilities and we said, oh, well, let's put together this thing. And, when you put together an arts organization or any organization that's a 501c3, they give you 5 years. They say you got 5 years and then you're going to fall apart. Well, we're still cooking 11 years later. And another former student of mine was doing the theater classes and she went back to get her master's degree and couldn't be here. So Alexis Costa was doing a phenomenal job. And we lost her to going back to school, which, you know, my philosophy, you never lose an education, go back and get your education.
Mhm.
And I had said, well, I think Crystal would be great. And Ann said, I think that would be really, really great. And she made the phone call, and then she called me back. She said, she can't do it. I said, what if I co-teach it with her? Maybe, right? And I picked up the phone and called Crystal, and it did take a little bit of coaxing there, but it has been nothing but a delight to work with you. We work together so well, and we teach a littles class and a bigs class. And you know, this past semester was very special because, you know, you think about a theater class, you think, oh, acting, and that's all you do. So we did acting for the first semester, and the second semester, because acting, if you were an actor, you know very well that, especially if you are not an actor who is of major fame star, you're doing your own makeup, you're doing most of your own costumes, you're doing set design, you're doing, you know, like you're doing all of those other tasks and learning your craft in the theater. So we were very pleased to be able to work our stuff around actually costuming and how the costuming works. And I was not able because I was at the Rotary event. So Crystal and I are both Rotarians, and we're both in the same committee. And I'm like, but I got to run the blood drive. So can you cover this? So Crystal covered the performances this past Saturday. So I got to see the wonderful pictures of the final product and the kids on stage. And it was just so fun to teach with you, Crystal. It was such a delight.
Likewise. Yeah, we like I said, we make one whole person when we put both of us together.
Yeah.
And when something comes up, we'll call the other one and say, well, could you? And then so we split weekends too. So it's not just this weekend or that. It's like, no, I'll take Friday, you take Saturday, you take Saturday, I'll take Friday.
And you know, we managed to work it out. And I was almost about to have like a conniption when I realized, I was like, oh my God, I'm teaching on the Saturday that Layla is graduating. So we were on the phone talking about something else, and I said, I can't. And she was like, I'll cover Saturday. I'll be back. And then, you know, I taught Friday. She covered Saturday. And then I think Fiona stepped. Oh, my gosh.
We had everybody stepping in so that we could go as crazy people doing 15 million things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my favorite statements that I say when people say, so you're retired? And I go, no, it's a course I failed. I'm not getting it right.
Here's a picture of you performing.
Oh, yes. That was when I was Forestburg Playhouse.
Right.
Yes. And I played, that was in Carousel. I had a lot of fun with that role because I got to play a really mean woman. She was mean. She was rough around the edges, is the way I like to describe her. And I had a blast playing that character in Carousel. And I've worked with some wonderful performers at Forestburg. I've had some wonderful opportunities there and some amazing roles that I've had the joy and honor to be part of. You know, I started there back in the days with Craig and Greg. And with Craig and Greg, I got my equity card. And years later, you know, going into teaching, my life took a little bit of a different route. But they wanted to help me out with my insurance when I was, you know, younger. So they helped to make sure that I had coverage and things of that nature. And so I started out there actually working as one of the resident company members. Back in the day.
I saw you there. I saw you there.
I bet you did.
I'm going to tell you why I went there. I went there because one of my gymnasts, Corinne Tubo, was on that play.
Was in Carousel?
No, at Forestburg Playhouse.
Oh no, she was in Hairspray.
Yeah, and she was there.
I was in Hairspray.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw you on that. You were very, very good.
So you know, it's really funny. I don't know, because I'm not really sure who's listening to us tonight, but if anybody remembers Chicky Serino, Mrs. Serino. Remember Miss Serino? So I got to actually channel her to do that role because they needed me to be this, you know, this gym teacher. And back in the day when I was in school, you know, they could smoke in classes. So, you know, so there was that. But Chicky Serino, and that's who I channeled, only to find out that she found out I channeled her.
So what was her response?
She loved it. She
Oh.
loved it. Yeah. You know, it was really funny. I started one of the first main stage roles that I did when I came back. I did Alice Bean in Titanic, a relatively serious role, you know, a fun role, but a serious role. And I loved doing it. I was in The Mousetrap, and, you know, I played Mrs. Boyle in The Mousetrap. So I was playing more of the serious stuff. And one of the directors said, you know, I really would like to cast Laurie as Madame de la Grande Labouche in Beauty and the Beast. So for those of you who don't know that character, she's referred to as the wardrobe, because they saw me being able to do the, you know, the that scene. They just saw me, and Norman said, "You can't cast Laurie in that. She's a serious actress." And they said, "You're her friend. Have you ever spoken to her? She's hilarious. Her comic timing." And from there on in, I started doing comedy roles and, you know, more of that sort of stuff. I mixed it with the others. I did some really fun things there. I did the Mayor's Wife in Music Man, which was a blast. I did Madame de la Grande Labouche. I did the character who changed. So I was the phys ed teacher. So I channeled Chicky Serino, and then I was the jail cellmate person, you know, and then I was in the donut shop, you know, in the hairspray shop that I was, you know, I was doing the donuts. I was pushing the donuts. So I loved doing those roles. And one of my favorite roles, I think, also to do over there, I played Parthy in Showboat.
that's a good show.
So Parthy challenged me because I was supposed to be from the age of 38 to the age of 84 by the end of the show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I was in my 40s when I did it. So the fact that they were willing to cast me as a 38-year-old, I was very excited about that. You know, so it covers all of that time span. But the content of that show and you know, and the ability to be able to deliver what that show entails was just so inspiring to me. And doing it with the cast that was there, I was just an amazing cast, and a great director. And I had fun doing that. And I also got to do the full Monty. I got to play Vicki Nichols opposite Norman. Yeah, that was a fun role. I did a lot of dancing in that role.
Oh, I love that.
Dancing.
You know, it's very funny. It's like almost like 6 degrees of separation, kind of. So, you know, going back to Chicky Serino, who we were literally just talking about like 3 hours ago or yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday, yeah.
So I had done several films, and you know, they added me to the email list, and the producer was like, "Okay, now you're in the family, so you're gonna get all the invitations to these parties and stuff like that, to these production parties and things like that." So I said, "Oh, okay." So I get an invitation. We go to his house in Kerhonkson. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. But yeah, it's a huge house, and on all these acres. So I walk in, and I went to get something to eat or whatever. I come back, and I walked in, I'm looking, and I'm like, "Are you a teacher? I think you were my teacher. Did you teach in Monticello?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "I think you were my gym teacher." And she was like, "Yes, I was." And I told her exactly. I'm like, "Miss Serino?" And she's like, "Yes." I was like, "Oh my God." It was so surreal, because I probably hadn't seen her since like middle school.
And she hasn't changed. She's amazing.
Has not changed at all. And now every time I go to one of these producers, this producer's party, she's always there because she's his neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, next time you see her, give her a hug and a kiss for me.
Well, I saw her Saturday.
Yeah.
At the casino, yeah.
She was at the casino.
She was at the casino, yeah.
I missed her. Where was I?
No, she didn't come to our event. She was downstairs, and I said, "Hey," and she just looked at me. I don't think she recognized me.
So we'll have to hang out over at the casino to see if, you know, Chicky shows up again.
There you go. But we're probably going to see her Monday. We have an event to go to. in Kerhonkson. So we'll see.
This is another thing we have in common.
I'm sorry. So, I think it's really funny because, here we're sitting here, we're talking about, the arts and music and this, that, the other thing, but the people who inspire us, those teachers that make such a difference in our lives. I love doing my advocacy work for NYSSMA as their advocacy chair. And I've been doing that at 10, 12 years. I forget how many years. When you do something and you love doing it and you're passionate about it, you lose that source of time. But, no matter who you might have on your shows and no matter who we talk to, and, Pete, this is so important for you, Pedro, because you have inspired so many kids. You have inspired, a plethora of students that we've had in common over the years. And, to me, Crystal will always be my student, now she's my friend, she's my colleague, but she's still my student. And how proud I am of the work and the accomplishment that she does. But the impact that we make on kids by just the simple things that we do on a daily basis and the ways that we do it, and don't get me wrong when I say this, I'm not that there's anything wrong with the math teacher, the science teacher, but those teachers that do the things that are not the traditional sit in the row, do those hands-on teachers, those performance-based teachers, not necessarily performance in the arts, but performance, the martial arts, gymnastics, physical education, those things that give the students a break within the day of the norm. Those are the teachers that inspire kids every day to come to school on a pretty regular basis. Again, that's not to say that the elementary school teacher doesn't do that or the secondary teacher in another specialized area, but those are the teachers that find that predominantly because we have them more than 1 year in a row.
Right.
That's a good point. They move on in the other areas where we get to have them several years in a row. We get to know them, their families, their likes, their dislikes. And it gives us a very unique perspective on the students and how they respond to us. I think that's why that relationship takes place. But it's just such a joy to be able to teach. And that was one of my favorite things at Forestburg. I did all these roles, but the resident company was there. And I also got to work with, I directed some of the children's productions. And I got to do that. And that was fun because there were other locals from the community that came in of younger performers. Being retired and now I supervise student teachers for Ithaca College and teaching at Nesson and doing those types of things. Somebody said earlier, I forget who it was who posted once a teacher, always a teacher type thing. And I don't think I'll ever stop teaching, and I never want to, because not only do I hope that I leave a legacy in the process of what it is that I do. And, I do it through the arts, but, leaving that legacy. But I also hope in the process that I'm building that future generation to make the world a better place.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
If I may use a little bit of Catskill Yiddish, a little verklempt.
I like verklempt. So yeah, it just it's a profession that I don't think gets the praise that it should get. And, I remember saying there was somebody who used to complain because they felt teachers made too much money. And I was a music teacher.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Came to a board meeting. I was relatively younger in my capacity of what I was doing. And I was still in the classroom. And I said, so listen, and I knew the person, Vic Gordon, for those of you who don't remember. So it was Vic Gordon, and he had a problem. And I give the man credit because I did step up to him and I said, so you think we make too much money? I said, Vic, I know you're retired. Come with me. Spend the day with me. Just spend my day with me. And he said, okay, I'll take on that challenge. And I got permission for him to come in. And he said, what time do I need to be at the school? I said, I get there about 6:30. I said, so if you're spending the day, you need to meet with me at 6:30. And by the way, we were in the old middle school at the time. I said, if you don't get there at 6:30, you won't find a parking spot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, so he did. He got there and he came into my room, and I set up my day for the first half hour, and then homeroom hit, and my kids started coming in, and my conference time was used for dealing with students and moving things around. So I didn't really have time to prep for anything else. I just had to I had that half hour in the morning to really get myself going. And then lunchtime came, but it was all county season. So I had kids coming in to practice for all county. So that was all county time. So then went to the rest of the afternoon. And I did have a conference period, and that conference period, which was my supposed unencumbered time, that I could have time to prep and do those things. But I really didn't have time to do that because I had to meet with the principal about something. So that eliminated that time. And he was getting hungry around then. He goes, "What do you do to eat?" I said, "I'll worry about that later." And I continued on. Yeah, I continued on. I finished the day. I had middle school musical rehearsal that afternoon. So I had middle school musical rehearsal until 4:30. The late bus, of course, was late. So it was 4:45. I got in the car and he goes, "Wow, that was a long day." I said, "I'm not done." He said, "What?" I said, "I'm not done." I said, "So would you like McDonald's, Subway, or Burger King?" And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Get in the car. We're not done. I'll bring it back to the car when we're done." And I got in the car and we ran over. We got Subway sandwiches because it was on the way over to the high school. Because I went into if you remember, there used to be a Subway over at the mobile station.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And so we picked up the Subway sandwiches, and I said, "So eat them." He goes, "Where are we going now?" I said, "I have high school musical rehearsal." So from 4:45 to 5:30, we had a time to eat a little bit of a sandwich. And then I ran from there to the high school musical rehearsal. We rehearsed 5:30 to 6:30. I was rehearsing a dance number that we needed to place into the show. And then 6:30 to 9 was play rehearsal. And we play rehearsed. And of course, there was a student whose parent forgot about them. So they didn't get there until 9:30 to pick them up. And of course, I had to wait for them.
Yep.
And then I got him back in the car and he goes, "Wow, what a long day." I said, "I'm not done." He said, "What do you mean you're not done?" I said, "Remember all those things the kids did in school today?" Yeah, I said, "They have to get it back tomorrow so they know how they did." I said, "I got to go home." I said, "I got to go home and I got to go and grade all these things and give markings and do what I'm doing on them. And then I maybe get some sleep around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock tonight. I'll maybe crawl into bed." I said, "But that's if my laundry's done, because at some point I have to take care of my house." And he went back to the next board meeting and said, "I will never say it again."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the life of a teacher. And, we give up a lot of ourselves in the process, but it is the best and the most rewarding job I've ever had the honor. As much as I love performing, and I get to perform every day as a teacher, I get to perform in front of my students every day. But that opportunity to take that love of what I do in the arts and bring it through to kids is the most exciting part of my life. And advocating for it, if anybody's listening, arts education, all those courses, but arts education in schools, we know what it does for kids. We know what it benefits for kids. So
That's awesome.
Yep, I'm a product.
That was Mrs. Boyles. That's Scott behind me. Oh, I had that first opportunity to meet with him, and what an amazing actor and the work that he's done. And we've stayed pretty close over the years. That's a long time ago. I think I was 39 or 40 when I did that role, and I'm not 39 or 40 anymore.
This is something that we both have in common. I used to be a counselor for this program.
Oh, okay.
That was I did the walk. If you remember, they did the walk.
Walking woman's shoe.
And so that you showed that picture. So if that picture is really funny because it's probably the one time people would see me without makeup on, because that was during COVID.
Oh,
that was the COVID walk. So I wanted to wear red, and because of my coloring, I only have one red shirt, and it's the one that says USA. I've had it for 30 years. It's the only one I ever wear that's red, other than my Heartathon shirts. But I didn't want to wear a Heartathon shirt while I was promoting, Rise. But Rise is an amazing organization, and if people don't know what that is about, that's for people who have been both physically, but more importantly, sexually assaulted. And, so many people hide what that is. I happen to have been a child victim. And when they started working and doing that work in the county, I've been a huge supporter of theirs for quite some time. They do amazing work. They really do.
Yeah, I was a counselor there from when you first started years ago. We're talking years, over 20 years.
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years?
Yeah, I think.
It had to be longer than that.
Yeah, probably longer than that because we've been married 17, 16.
He's in the same doghouse Bill's usually, and don't worry about it.
Did you guys get your selfie on Saturday?
No.
For shame.
No,
know.
Yeah, and I was looking for you too, but you were busy.
I was all over the place. I did a moderation of a panel discussion. There's a lot of stigma. So it was the for those who are listening, it was the 3 Rotary clubs got together, Monticello, Liberty, and Livingston Manor, and for our Rotary Day of Service, which was happening all across a number of states. All the Rotary clubs were doing service in their community. So for our Rotary Day of Service, we figured that we would run the wellness experience, connecting mind, body, and spirit, and specifically to our need and understanding of mental health. And so we worked on putting together some really great things that people would not necessarily think mental health, because, we had this conversation in the panel discussion, and we were very lucky. Our Assemblywoman, Aileen Gunther, was with us, and she was able to give us some wonderful insight because she chairs the mental health committee for the New York State Assembly. She is the chairperson of that committee. So having an understanding and where fundings need to go and what the concerns are. And then Melissa Stickle from the county was also on that panel discussion, and just knowing her facts and the details of where things are at. And then we had Dr. Bill Silver, who's a retired superintendent. And he sat because he did a lot of background work in working with students specific to the bullying concepts and moving forward and programs such as that. Because we talked about, the stigma of saying that there's mental health, and we all have our issues. From the moment we feel stress, that's mental health. It's wearing on our body, to the extreme of where we're self-medicating and at times, losing lives to those forms of addiction. So it was just, you have a good workshop when you schedule an hour, you start on time, you end on time. It goes 10 minutes over, and you stop it because you're 10 minutes over and people still want to stay and talk. Nice. That's you've done a great job. So it was really a lot of great information. So I started there. So by the time I got out of that workshop, Pedro, I think you had already done your first class because you did 2 of them.
Yes.
So I think we were in competition with each other.
Right. I came and watched you talk, and then after you finished, then I went and did mine. Okay. So we had that, and then you did a second one, and then I did one later in the day on arts therapy and the benefits of arts therapy in the makeup of that. And there's, wonderful opportunities in the arts that way. So, because you don't always have to be a performer. Although we have a lot of performers, you don't have to be. There's music therapy, there's visual arts therapy, there's dance therapy, there's theatrical therapy. I mean, Crystal, we talk about as we build characters and we do those kind of things, feeling that inner emotion to bring out, people say to actors all the time, I'm sure you get this, well, how do you cry on cue?
You dig that from inside.
I was gonna say, yes.
You know, there's something in that, you know. When I was telling you about the role that I did in Carousel, there's a scene that I had to be on stage for, where the Billy Bigelow dies. He's killed, he's stabbed. And you know, that's where the You'll Never Walk Alone scene is done. And my character is on the stage during that scene. And to watch how Billy Bigelow was abusive in his relationship, and watching that and how that happens. And I dug deep because I needed to show the one time this horrible character had emotion, was watching this scene of this man that she secretly loved, but he married this other woman. But to watch that love, even though she was abused by him and she kind of abused him, but also abused. And I had to reach deep down inside, and I went back to my abuse. And, you know, that's what I pulled from. So there's a lot of that in the build of a character and what it is that we do in order, like, I don't put drops in my eyes to make myself cry. I cry, you know, but I find what it is in that moment that I can pull from. So.
Wow.
Here's another thing that you went through, and I remember this very clearly. And like I said, we could talk to you for another 2 hours, but you know.
Oh, I know the photo you're gonna show.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's one thing when you've got cancer and you've had issues with cancer and you're old like I am, but a little boy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the little ones get it, you know, they're supposed to bury me. I'm not supposed to bury them. Right. So when I find those little ones and there are survivors, and, you know, I am proud and so honored to say I am a survivor. I am a real survivor, you know, not a one-shot deal. And my last, the one that got me this last time, I was tonsil cancer. And how bizarre is that for a vocalist to get tonsil cancer, and then to get the tonsil cancer on the left side of my neck, because the other thing I do is play the violin. And that's where you tuck your violin. And they had to take out, I was stage 4. They took out the first tumor from my neck. And they told me in the process of all of the surgeries, I would struggle with my vocal cords and my eating. That one wasn't so bad. The second one was down my throat. They took out the first tumor that caused the second tumor that had metastasized into the neck, into the lymph nodes. They took out the original tumor. They took out the tonsil that it was attached to. They took out a piece of the back of my throat, a piece of the back of my tongue, and my uvula. Now, the uvula lets you swallow. And in case you haven't figured out, I'm a pretty stubborn person. And I said, I have very little vice in life, but I do like my food. I want to be able to eat. And they said, you really should have a feeding tube. And I said, I don't want one. So they took the good portion of my tongue, took out a piece of that, and rebuilt my uvula so that I would be able to swallow better. And I still struggle, which is, you know, a side effect. But they originally told me I wouldn't be able to speak, sing, or hear.
And you don't have that.
I have no hearing aids in. I struggle. My hearing is not the greatest, but I hear. I definitely speak. I struggle to sing, but I sing. And I get through. You know what I do? I sing a little bit lower than I've ever sung before. I would use a soprano. I'm probably more of a contralto these days, but I can get through it. And I still teach voice, and I have that opportunity. But I had that HPV cancer that you hear the commercials all the time about, you know, get your kids vaccinated, and, you know, and the parents who say, but my child is not sexually active. You don't necessarily get it for sexual activity. It is one of the ways you get it. It is the more prominent ways you get it, but it is a virus. I describe it as a virus like chickenpox. Kids get chickenpox, they heal. As adults, they wind up with shingles. Some people get it, some people don't. HPV 16, same thing. Your kids get it. They could get it from the playground. A kid sucks a thumb, holds a hand. They suck their thumb. They get the virus. You probably don't even realize they get it because it usually comes out in, a canker sore in the mouth or just cold feelings, flu-like symptoms. And you fight it and it goes away and you never deal with it again, hopefully. Or there are some adults in the world, and it's one of the top moving cancers actually in the world today. And you get this HPV cancer. Sadly, women get it cervically, vaginally, things of that nature. Men get it penally and things of that nature, but it's also got an oral concept to it. And it can get in your system. Those are the areas it attacks. We don't know why, but it does. And the Gardasil injection, I'm part of the study for women or people over the age of 45, because there are 9 different forms of HPV viruses that cause cancers. And all I can say for those who are listening, if you have a child at that age and they're eligible to get this injection, cancer sucks. Cancer sucks. The injection is nothing. And I've had no side effects or anything from the Gardasil injection itself. And I was one at risk because I'm at that older, it used to be ages 9 to 24 for men, age 24 for women, and 26 for men. And then they raised the age 9 to 45. So if you're between those ages, you can get it. And now they're doing samplings of people up and beyond the age of 45, which I fall into very easily. So I'm very glad that I am part of that, and they monitor me and how I'm doing. And I have had issues with the HPV elsewhere in my body that they were able to find, and because it's a virus, it just attacks. And they were able to help me and clear it up. And I am, knock on wood, healthier than I've been in a very long time.
Awesome.
So, but that little boy that day, they were doing everything around that for him. It was the gold, wearing gold that day. If you think that I'm an inspiring story, listen to that little one. Because he didn't stop. He didn't stop. And, you lose your hair, you do your stuff, you do everything, and not everybody's lucky. Not everybody gets to say I'm a survivor. But when those little ones get to say they're survivors, they just did the St. Jude's radio cards. I do the boot cards. Bill and I are huge donors privately to the organization directly, so we don't do it through the local radiothon. But those types of organizations, Ride to Survive, which is a local organization in our community, that makes sure that people in Sullivan County have access to their appointments and don't have to choose between a ride to their appointment or gas to their car or an overnight stay before a treatment or anything like that. They make sure that they get there and they work with them, and they won't have to worry about whether or not it's that or put food on the table for their families. So another great organization that that I put my little stamp of approval on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We could, like I said, we could talk an hour. We could have talked to Lady Laura for another hour too.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to have you back on, and probably going to have you individually.
Yeah.
So we could cover more.
Well, before we let her go, let me just say this. So, for our gymnastics exhibition, for the last several years, I have been emceeing it. Before that, it was Betsy Conity. And then one year Betsy wasn't available, and my husband said to ask Les Christ. So Les emceed it several years back. And then since then, it's just been me. I'm like, I know the program, blah, blah, blah. So I emceed it, for the past 3 or 4 years. And then I said, you know what? I think I need to be on the floor this year to help move stuff around. I know the layout of the show. And I was thinking, I was like, who are we going to get to MC? I don't know. And you're the first person I thought of, but I said, no, she's too busy. She's not going to be able to do it. So I'm racking my brain. So I said, honey, do you know somebody who we could ask? And he was like,
guess who I said?
Ask Lori. I'm like, okay. So I asked her, and she was like, absolutely. And I almost cried because I'm like, here I am, like stressing myself out, and boom, just like that. She didn't say, I need to check my schedule. Turns out that you said that you always keep that weekend open for Memorial Day.
I always keep that weekend open for Memorial Day because I'm asked to sing for services, and I like to stay low key on that weekend because, again, I struggle with my vocal cords, and I want to give the veterans the best I can on that day to sing. But my voice, again, it's stronger than it's been in a long time. It's coming back, as I needed to come back. And so when you did that offer, I thought about it for about 10 seconds and said, okay, so that's going to be a lot of talking, but it's on Saturday. I've got Sunday to recoup. So Monday I'm saying yes. Because I wouldn't, you guys could ask me to do anything. I just so much enjoy working with the both of you. You're delightful.
The feeling is quite mutual, And it's so funny that Nicole is watching, because Nicole is one of our team parents. And she said to me during the meeting, she said, I could MC it. I said, I don't want to take any of my parents away from their.
No, you're there as parents. Be a parent.
And she said to me, Crystal, if you get in a bind, I have 7 years of community theater. I said, I don't want to take my parents away from their post. And then you stepped in and saved the day. So
that's it's my pleasure. I'm glad I was free and have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, we want to say thank you to you and to Lady Laura.
Yes, and please send our love to Bill. Let him know we're thinking about him and we're glad he's feeling better.
Thank you, and I'll make sure that he watches this on the on the rehash of it, because he's not a Facebook guy or anything, so I have to do it myself.
Well.
Okay.
He will be on YouTube.
Yes,
He's
on our YouTube channel as well. Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us. We love you, and we will see you Saturday.
Love you too. Love you guys.
Bye, Lady Laura. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much. That was, again, a great show.
Mm-hmm.
Great people. We know good people, don't we?
My face hurts from smiling so much and laughing.
We do know good people. The kids were asking me today, how do you know Lady Laura?
How do they know Lady Laura?
Because I told them she was going to be on.
Oh, okay. Did you show them any video?
Yeah, they were listening to the video because when I was working out, I was playing it.
So I moved from Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
When we were 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the 5th grade already.
Right.
And when I moved, I was already playing violin. I had already been playing for probably a year, a little more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Lubin was my violin teacher.
Right.
And then, so I moved to Monticello, and I was still playing violin. And then it was Karen Lofferswaller, who was my violin teacher. And there was just something that when I went to middle school, aside from the violin, and it was that the learning about music itself, which is where I met Lori James, and she, for the 3 years that I was in the middle school, she was my music teacher. And I have to tell you, I am closest with my music teachers than any other teachers. With the exception of, and this gives validity to what she said, my high school and middle school basketball coaches. There you go, moving the body. What sports that make kids want to come to school.
Everything she said about teaching was right.
Everything she said.
And what you said about music is also right. And I'm going to tell you why, because I don't remember the names of my math teacher, and I don't remember the name of my history teacher, but I do remember Mr. Myers.
Was he your music teacher?
No, that was my gym teacher.
Gym teacher.
and Dr. Sullivan, and he was my piano teacher.
Yeah.
That caught me cheating when I was doing piano. I told you the story.
Yeah.
He said, you got very good ears. And I said, like, why? I said, you played the song perfectly, but you didn't turn the page. So
I love
Dr.
that story.
Sullivan and Mr. Bloom, and I don't know what he taught before, but he volunteered to teach guitar.
Wow.
For guitar.
Folk guitar. Okay.
For anyone that wanted it. And
Wow.
I ended up in his class. And
so maybe that was his outlet, you know,
yeah,
he was a math teacher or whatever, but he wanted to, that's just so amazing.
So yeah, you know, shout out to music
Shout
teacher.
out to my music teacher.
And of course.
And Ellen Nutters too. She's a pip.
Everybody remembers
she's
her.
a pip.
Though,
Yeah,
right?
everyone remembers Ellen Nutters. She's a pip.
Yeah, the English teacher I do remember is the one from college.
You know, and again, music, both music performance and English, and English was one of my favorite classes. But I really think that is why I went into performance and voiceover work and acting, because I could use my voice. And I went into doing educational videos is how I started.
Right.
Ankylosing spondylitis. Like, those are not, you know, just pronouncing words that people don't say. But I think all of those things combined.
It's very important. Look, I tell my kids, English and your arts, right? And you got to take math so you could count the money you make from
boom. Boom.
So that's it. That's our show for today. We went longer than we usually do because we had some good guests.
I'm going to say something before we go out.
Okay. So
for the folks that have kids that go to, especially Monticello Central School District, but if you're in another district, that's quite all right as well. We have had one of the top music programs in the state for as long as I can remember.
That's true, you did say.
For as long as I can remember. And if your child is not involved in music, get them involved in music.
If they want to. If not, country gymnastics. No.
Oh my God.
Anyway, that is our show for today.
Yes.
We're glad to our guests. Thank you to our guests, Lady Laura and Lori James.
Yes.
And, you know, eventually we're going to have to do a show live, maybe at the high school or something. And bring, can you imagine having the performance that we have?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Okay. So, love, peace, and harmony. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.